Hey everybody, this is P. Holla with the Rant. I will start off by saying, believe nothing and dare all. We now have come to a point where our president, Joe Biden, has come out in the open stating that it's embarrassing to have a Congress that can't seem to come together. It's also embarrassing to have our country defaulting. And it's a lot of other things that's embarrassing for our country, especially as it pertains to Capitol Hill and the ones at the tippity top. However, now with all the smoke screen, I'm pretty sure that a lot of the public is not aware that we have warships that's close to the borders of Florida. Warships that are close to the borders of Hawaii and America. And we also have warships by Alaska. Now, to me, the average person might say, oh well, it's just warships, military. The problem there is, it's Russian and China. They also, my sources, that's real reliable, they point out that these warships are said to be carrying rockets, missiles, EMPs, and for those out there that's not really familiar with the EMPs, that's a device that can be set off that will literally black our country out. I mean, just shut all technology, communications down. For me personally, as a citizen, I love my country. I'm proud to be an American. Okay. The threat of anyone shutting down our country is scary in a way. And I say that because first, it seems like the plan is to deprive everyone with the high prices and the food shortage, then the fuel shortages. It's also some kind of demented plan that's being enacted to mess with the finances of us in America. And so that will all create hysteria, complete chaos, which is states in this country right now, in cities that's in those states, that's feeling that. They're feeling the impact. Over in California, where it's flooding that, they're feeling the impact. Up north, down south, everyone is starting to feel the impact, and they haven't even gotten started yet. That's what's so scary about the whole situation. And so I urge everyone out there to start stacking your canned goods. Start getting your dry foods, reinforcing them for the long haul of survival. people out there that's not familiar with outdoor cooking, outdoor grilling, building greenhouses, fireplaces, even pitching tents up. We're at a point now where the threats are so severe, if you're paying attention, that it's going to be vital to your survival to even have a generator. Solar powered generators are great. Um, Electric generators are great. And fuel operated generators has always been great. And the problem there is when we can't get any fuel. Our country is moving into the area of biting the hands that feed them. And I'm talking about the ones on Capitol Hill. They want to shut down our IRS, the same IRS that they need to bail the country out. They want to cut off programs and cause dismay for the taxpayers of this country, whom they receive their pay through, who seems to pay for everything. And every time you turn around, it always talks about the budget and cutting back programs and trying to figure out where the money's going to come from. And at the end of the day, it's not coming from any of them. It's a lot of rich people on Capitol Hill. And me, myself, I don't have a problem with rich people, per se. My problem is when rich people use their riches to push down the ones who've helped them to get rich. Cutting Social Security, that hurts a lot of veterans. And for this country to hurt the veterans, who I feel they always could have and should have been looking out for a little bit more, when you take into account the veterans that I see and the veterans that I know that's in financial bonds and missing limbs, done lost limbs for the country, done developed diseases for the country. And now, when they need their country most, the country will turn their back on them. It's also sad when you have the right and the left going at each other over the same issues all the time. Us taxpayers, the people on the lower tiers, even the people in the middle class, they don't want to hear it. The ones that's familiar, that knows the lingo and the talk, yeah, it's okay for them. You know, they can keep up. I can keep up. But what's aggravating about it is that by me keeping up, I also know that nothing has changed. It's everyone trying to put their hands in the cookie jar without asking and grab what they can grab for themselves and their constituents. This debt ceiling, It's make believe. The default is make believe because we are in a system, cash system, that does print our own money. What would things be like without the debt ceiling, without the spending budget? Because it seems like to me, the budget is always spent on what Capitol Hill wants to spend it on. It's always arguments and voting process that has to take place and all these runarounds for the taxpayers that the money comes from. Indirectly. But when it's something like sending money, billions, to another country, it seemed like it's an overnight thought process. And when they talk about the debt ceiling, when they talk about the spending budget, they only include the taxpayers to make you feel good. For you to think that someone is actually trying to make a difference. But we know the ones that's really trying to make a difference, the ones that will really hold the office down and put their thing down, okay, for the country, for the people of the country, they're the ones that don't get the support that's needed to get over the hump that's created by the right and the left. Moving forward, everyone needs to understand that for our country to overcome what we're about to go through, peace, love, and light is going to be needed. While the government is planning for where they're going to run and hide, whether it be caves, tunnels, so many elaborate getaways real quick for the ones at the top. And make no mistakes, I'm not talking about this so-called 1%. I'm not talking about Jeff Bezos. I'm not talking about Elon Musk. I'm not talking about Bill Gates. We expect them to have a safe haven for themselves, them, their family, and their friends, okay? Same with myself. Same should be expected out of you. If you have it, to create a safe haven atmosphere to ride out some bad times, well, that's just love, peace, and light that you'll be spreading. And you can't trust everybody. I personally don't trust anyone, but I will say this. There are people that I care about. Everyone has someone they care about. And for that reason alone, in your own safety, you should want to be able to do all that you can. So the challenge is not for everyone to think about tax time and going out and buying themselves a shiny new automobile. Go get a beat up pickup truck. Something you don't mind busting up if you have to use it. If you get my drift, not promoting violence. But you never know when that time is going to come where you need that certified pickup truck. With all the gadgets, okay? Helping somebody get out of ditch, anything. The challenge is for different ones to go out here and obtain generators, get building supplies, stack up on your firewood. If you live in rural communities, countryside communities, start chopping some of those trees down and stacking that firewood up. It might not be just for you. You might be able to help somebody out in your community. And most of all, just staying safe out there. Because it's going to get a little bit harder as we go along. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I'm just the guy that's going to rant about it. And so, get your goods together. Stay prayed up. And I'll catch you on the next one. Holla.